أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. رب اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. رب اغفر لي ولوالدي يوم يقوم الحساب. I'm going to request my brothers from Gulistan and Mehdi, inshallah, to recite a few words of in the honor of these blessed holy nights. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Oh, yeah. أفلح من صلى على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد
اللهم صل على وعجل فرجهم يا حسين إن شاء الله. السلام علیکم تو فیالی مدد خوشنودی محمد وآل محمد بلندر صلوات. شبیر ڈھونڈتا ہے اکبر کہاں گرا ہے. شبیر ڈھونڈتا ہے اکبر کہاں گرا ہے. بیٹے کے قاتلوں سے یہ باپ پوچھتا ہے اکبر کہاں گرا ہے. شبیر ڈھونڈتا ہے اکبر کہاں گرا ہے. بیٹے کے قاتلوں سے یہ باپ پوچھتا ہے اکبر کہاں گرا ہے. شبیر ڈھونڈتا ہے اکبر کہاں گرا ہے. اتنا ضعیف ہو گیا آتا نہیں نظر آتا نہیں نظر. اکبر کی لاش سے یوں ہی کہتا گزر گیا ہے اکبر کہاں گرا ہے. شبیر ڈھونڈتا ہے اکبر کہاں گرا ہے. غم آ گیا کمر میں جاتا نہیں چلا جاتا نہیں چلا. بازو کے بل چلا اور ہونٹوں پہ یہ صدا ہے اکبر کہاں گرا ہے. شبیر ڈھونڈتا ہے اکبر کہاں گرا ہے. اٹھنے کی کوششوں میں جاموں کے بل گرا، جاموں کے بل گرا، ایک کانپتی آواز میں عابد نے جب سنا ہے، اکبر کہاں گرا ہے، شبیر ڈھونڈتا ہے، اکبر کہاں گرا ہے۔ آیا جو پاس لاش کے آتا نہیں یقین، آتا نہیں یقین، برچی پہ ہاتھ ہے مگر شبیر سوچتا ہے، اکبر کہاں گرا ہے، شبیر ڈھونڈتا ہے، اکبر کہاں گرا ہے۔ بیٹے کے قاتلوں سے یہ باپ پوچھتا ہے، اکبر کہاں گرا ہے۔ صلوات بر محمد و آل محمد۔ یہ کلام تھا سید جون شاہ شاعر اہل بیت۔ صلوات بر محمد و آل محمد۔
برائے خوشنودی امام زمانہ بلندتر صلوات۔ جب لوٹ کے کربلا سے اسیر ستم چلے، جب لوٹ کے کربلا سے اسیر ستم چلے، سجاد سر برہنا بدرد و علم چلے، سجاد سر برہنا بدرد و علم چلے، روتے سروں کو پیٹتے پابند غم چلے، زینب نے لاش شہ سے کہا بھائی ہم چلے، زینب نے لاش شہ سے کہا بھائی ہم چلے، مرنے سے آپ کے میں یہ ایذا اٹھاتی ہوں، دربار میں یزید کے سر ننگے جاتی ہوں، دربار میں یزید کے سر ننگے جاتی ہوں، ہے میرے مسافرے کرب و بلا حسین، ہے میرے غریب میرے مہلکہ حسین، ہے تجھے نہ پانی کا قطرہ ملا حسین، ہے تمام تن تیرا ٹکڑے ہوا حسین، پیاسے گلے پخنجرے بیدار چل گیا، ہے تڑپ تڑپ کے تیرا دم نکل گیا، ہے تڑپ تڑپ کے تیرا دم نکل گیا، لے نینوا علی کی بیضا تجھے ملی، اے کربلا خدا کی امانت تجھے ملی، اے خاک میری ماں کی ریاضت تجھے ملی، لے اے زمین شمع امامت تجھے ملی، لے اے زمین شمع امامت تجھے ملی، دامن تیرا بھرا میری کھیتی اجڑ گئی، سرحد میں تیری بھائی سے زینب بچھڑ گئی، سرحد میں تیری بھائی سے زینب بچھڑ گئی، یہ کہہ کے سر کو پیٹ کے روئی وہ دل جلی، ہاں کر نجف سے حال میرا دیکھو یا علی، ہاں کر نجف سے حال میرا دیکھو یا علی، گردن رسل میں آپ کی بیٹی کی ہے بندھی، ہاں کہتے یہ ماریا سے وہ بچشم تر چلی، ہے میں کربلائے معلیٰ میں لوٹ گئی، پردیس میں آ کے برادر سے چھوٹ گئی، پردیس میں آ کے برادر سے چھوٹ گئی، مہماں بلا کے ہم سے دغا کی لعینوں نے، کیا کیا نہ ہم پجورو جفا کی لعینوں نے، کچھ بھی ذرا نہ شرم و حیا کی لعینوں نے، گردن جفا سے شہ کی جدا کی لعینوں نے، گردن جفا سے شہ کی جدا کی لعینوں نے، خیمے جلا کے اہل ستم شاد ہو گئے، ہم کربلا میں آن کے برباد ہو گئے، خیمے جلا کے اہل ستم شاد ہو گئے، ہم کربلا میں آن کے برباد ہو گئے، ہم کربلا میں آن کے برباد ہو گئے، جب لوٹ کے کربلا سے اسیر ستم چلے، پر محمد و آل محمد صلوات
اللہم صلی اللہ محمد
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين وسيما بقية الله في الأرضين روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء صلوات. As is customary, we start the lecture off, inshallah, by talking about the month of Muharram and the fact that this month is, in fact, the month of development. It's a month where we're supposed to develop ourselves, just like the month of Ramadan. For getting onto the caravan of Aba Abdullah requires effort from our part. We talked about the fact that we have to look at Aba Abdullah no less than our best friend. We have to include him in our hardships, for he is somebody who can truly help us in those. We talked about the fact that, in fact, morning and night cannot go by where we forget Aba Abdullah, na'udhu billah. We have to say salam to him morning and night. There's a very strong tradition amongst the ulama that they recite Ziyarat Ashura from the day of Ashura all the way until Arba'in. So this tradition I'm quoting and narrating it to you is from Allama Tabatabai, whose teacher has told him to do this, and he taught his students to do that. This particular quotation is from Ayatollah Tahriri, who is actually one of the students of Allama himself. Okay. So it is highly recommended that we do Ziyarat Ashura from today all the way until Arba'in. If you're not able to do it with 100 la'an and 100 salams, then at least reciting it once is good. But here's the way that Allama Tabatabai used to recite Ziyarat Ashura for this particular time, and he encouraged others to do as well. He used to say that in the morning, recite the ziyarat all the way until the beginning of the 100 la'ans and 100 salams. Okay? Then throughout the day, as you're walking and talking and so on and so forth, recite the la'ans as well and the salams as well. And in the evening, finish the ziyarah off and do the 2 rakah salah. In this particular way, you're able to do the ziyarah of Aba Abdullah in your whole day, and it doesn't add a huge pressure on your particular lifestyle as well. So this was a quotation from Agha Tahriri that I'm passing on to you individuals. Salawat, please. Regarding the topic that we've been covering, we said that there are meanings that control us, and we saw that in the time of Hazrat Muslim in Kufa, these individuals associate the meaning of qudra incorrectly, and hence they joined the wrong side. They joined the side of batil, and they left the side of haqq, which was Hazrat Muslim alayhi salam. We realized that qudra in the eyes of Imam Hussein is in fact that haqq, its essence and innate aspect is qudra. And qudra can never come and oppose haqq. And hence, Aba Abdullah teaches us that right is might, not that might is right. We continued and talked about the fact that the hardship of running away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is far greater than the hardship of the hardship in crossing the red lines of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is far greater than preventing ourselves from crossing those red lines. And hence those red lines have been placed for us for that reason. We continued and talked about the fact that this particular life of ours, every aspect of it, as long as it's connected to haqq, then it is something that is maye qudrat. It's something that is the source of strength. And every aspect of this particular life which is not connected to haqq, it is maye dha'af. It's the source of weakness itself. Doesn't matter what appearance situation you particularly might be holding. You could be holding a lot of power, health, wealth, and so on and so forth. But if it's not served in the right way, if it's not served in the pursuit towards the caravan of Abu Abdullah, that's nothing but weakness. We continued and we talked about the fact that it's not just us but our families that we have to attach to the caravan as well. We continued and we said that, well, death is not the lack of life. In fact, death is just as how we came into this world. Death is a mechanism for the transference of our existence to a different form, not yet known to us. Okay? We continued and said that, you know what, Karbala is neither the start of the message nor does the message end with Karbala itself. From Nabi Adam alayhi salam all the way till Qiyamah, this world has been a classroom where individuals have been coming in and they were taught by the guidances of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through His awliya, certain things what to do, and based on their actions they graduated from this class, each going towards their respective end. Some graduating and going towards a more fruitful end, and others graduating and getting their just desserts in hellfire. So this world serves as a classroom, really. Karbala is neither the start of that particular message nor the end of it. We went further and we talked about the honey-like hardships in our life, and we said, you know what? If you consider the example of a child going towards getting an injection, a vaccination, okay? The child is stuck and focused on the vaccine, the hardship of that particular vaccine. But the parents who cross that hardship and go through that door towards the understanding of what the vaccine actually is, it's preventing that child from getting sick. It's holding that COVID, let's say, away from that particular child. If they cross that particular door and they entered Rahmah, that same hardship, they understand it to be something as a source of mercy. They even hold their child down so the vaccine can be administered to their 3-year-old. We understand that those individuals who get caught up in hardships and don't use that door to go into the mercy of Allah, well, those individuals are lacking something which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran told us it was nur. They looked to the individuals and said, look to us so we can use your nur. Nur is nothing but that maturity and that ilm that those parents have regarding that particular vaccine. And the example of the vaccine is right there. The parents understand the importance of this short-term pain and short-term control and short-term difficulty and what that actually means for their long-term development for that particular child. And hence, they even sign up to doctors, they look for basically appointments, they drive you all the way there, and then they hold you down if you're trying to run away. But that child, unfortunately, gets stuck in the hardship itself and can't progress. So we learned that every hardship in my life, in fact, has a door within it that I have to find and cross. If I'm not able to cross that particular door, then I get stuck in the hardship. And for me, then, that hardship becomes adhab. Ask a child when he's about to get an injection, is this an azab for you or not? He's just seeing the injection, but this is the biggest azab. Salawat, please. We continued and talked about the fact that, in fact, guidance is given to creatures based on their needs. And we gave the example of the fetus and how basically it learns to breathe and pump its lungs while it's in the womb, because that's one of the things that it's going to use. And we understood that, in fact, what the Ahlul Bayt have taught us regarding the hereafter is not something limited to the hereafter, but rather it is happening right now. We covered the topic of shafa'ah, we talked about what the sirat is, and so on and so forth. Then in the Shabedari Majlis, the night before Ashura, we talked about something very important too. We said, well, this I of ours, this nafs, that's the real us. This physical body isn't. And we gave some explanations of why that I is in fact the real us and the physical body isn't. And went further and we said, you know what? That when we basically cut that I from meanings that are negative and impure in that nature, we allow for that I to elevate and to become more pure. And we gave the example of the sun from the base to the sun's source. And the more pure this I became, then the less affected it was by that which was happening at the lower level. Okay? Throughout this journey and these talks, I've made sure that I give examples that are pertaining to microscopic life here in Canada. And what did I use? I used that exact form that I had made in the beginning. The requests and the questions and the topics that I received from your community, I used those into the examples. Okay? So the microscopic advices and practical implementation of the theory which we have covered, I gave throughout the beginning of Muharram, all throughout the 10 days. Today's lecture is specific to macroscopic advices for the community at large here in KW. Okay? It's the implementation now of what we've learned so far here now, practically in the KW community today. Salawat, please. I've already had talks with some of the administration of different aspects, at different levels of this particular community, and imparted my advice to them. Some of those advices will be here too, inshallah. But as far as talking to administrations and people who are in charge is concerned, they can only act if they have the backing of the community behind them. If the community simply doesn't back them, then whatever changes they want to bring about, they won't be able to. Okay? Another salawat, please. We talked about the aspect of apparent power and actual power, and the fact that qudra is only there if we are connecting that apparent power to haqq. We also talked about education being something extremely important. Education being an apparent power, if it connects us to haqq, and this particular step is something extremely important. Each of us strives to go to school or university because we want to get that education. That part is fitri, right? That's something that brings mu'mineen and not mu'mineen the same level. If you ask somebody who's out of the caravan of Abu Abdullah, that is education important to them, they're going to say yes. And if you ask somebody who's inside the caravan as well, is education important to you, they're going to say yes. But what differentiates somebody within the caravan of Abu Abdullah and from the person outside is the person inside the caravan says, this education in of itself is not important. It's only important to me if it lets me connect to my master. Okay? So keeping this particular understanding in mind, we have to understand that education is an important area to develop for this particular community. I've already mentioned the start of a school in this community. Inshallah, I pray you all back that particular project up. Advices further than that are going to be given today as well. Keep your ears open, inshallah. When we talk about ulum and sciences, the value of each science is based on that which is studied in that science. Correct? So that which gives value to medicine is the fact that the human body is important and we want to take care of it, and hence all of a sudden the study of medicine becomes something important. Okay? And the study of grasshopper wings becomes less important because, well, for us, grasshopper wings aren't as important as human bodies are. We're humans. Okay? So that which gives value to sciences is in fact the ma'loom, that which that particular science goes towards understanding. If this is the case, the greatest science in the caravan of Abu Abdullah has the greatest ma'loom. What's the greatest ma'loom? Allah. The greatest known thing, the thing that you have to go and strive towards, is Allah Himself. So those sciences which go towards explaining to you the greatest ma'loom, hence end up becoming the greatest of sciences. Okay. Now, this was something that even outside the caravan of Abu Abdullah in the West was accepted before. Before, the highest of sciences was philosophy. Why? Because it talked about the existence and its source. Okay? In Western academia today, all that's left from that method of studies and that method of understanding is the name PhD. That's it. PhD means what? Doctorate in philosophy. Okay? So all that's left from that particular area where the man understood that understanding existence and its source was the apex of all sciences, just the name remains. Okay? This is not the case for those who are in the caravan of Abdullah. They understand that The highest of all sciences is the science of Allah, the one that connects and talks about Allah Himself. And hence the ulum of the Ahlul Bayt is the highest of all sciences. But does that mean that other sciences are not needed in the caravan of Abdullah? Absolutely not. To run a society, you need doctors, you need engineers, you need every single person, as long as their understanding is in appropriation to that which the caravan demands from them. Okay? In the caravan of Abdullah, there's a hierarchy to knowledge. If I'm somebody who's in that caravan and I'm striving towards knowledge, I have to understand that hierarchy for myself too. Salawat, please. A community is nothing but the collective of the individual nufus that are there. Okay? So hence the KW community is very different than the Kingston community, and that's very different than the Montreal community, and so on and so forth, because each nafs that comes and makes up this particular collective, this congregation right here before me, this jama'at if you will, right? Each one of these nufuses are the ones that come and compromise this. You take the individual nafs away, right? Each one of those one's eyes goes away, and there's nothing left. That which makes yourselves you is your collective nature, okay? And hence now the strength of the collective lies in the strength of the individual aspects of that particular community as well. So by helping the individual aspects of this community get stronger, in fact, you're helping the collective altogether. Okay? The first advice I have in a practical sense is to university students and high school students. Salawat, please. You have university students who spend 4 years going to get their bachelor's, and they might come up with something that is quite tunneled in their growth. They will only be experts in that one field or rishta in Urdu that we particularly take. So somebody who's in sciences or physics, let's say, they'll only be experts in that particular area. Somebody who's in computer science will only be somebody who works in that particular area. And this might work very nicely for the Western existence, where basically you're supposed to be really good at one particular thing, so that the overall method of you going to the university is for you to get that job and be able to do that thing that job requires from you. You don't need to know anything else. Okay? But in the caravan of Abdullah, this is not the right way of looking at things. See, this idea of increasing ourselves in knowledge wholesomely is important. One of the advices I have is that individuals who are finding themselves that they're about to either go into university or in the programs for their bachelor's is that they host seminars amongst themselves for the community at large, where they tell others about what they're learning. Okay? This has multiple benefits. The benefit to the person presenting is they themselves, when they're presenting a science, that particular topic, they become stronger in that. The Shia community gets an individual who's stronger in their field. That's really good. It has other benefits too. Those individuals who are listening, the audience, they get some benefit as well. Those high school students who are about to go to university, they're not going to go into picking a particular field blindly. If you have these seminars, they know what the computer science field looks like, what types of topics it has. They know what the biology field looks like, what type of topics it has, and so on and so forth. So these individuals who are in the high school level, you're strengthening them too. You're giving them power. You're giving them advice where they're able to make a decision based off of actual experience with that particular field. This is not small. In the empowerment of your individual eyes, you're empowering the community. Salawat, please. This also has a benefit to centers as well, community centers. See, these centers, if we look at their functionality, typically there's an event that happens that's in the evening and so on and so forth, and the rest of the day the center is left closed. Okay? If you don't use your premises in a manner which serves the community. Each individual has hubbun nafs. I talked about that, the love of the eye, hubbun nafs, right? So your value allocation towards everything is based off of the value that something is providing to you, okay? So if you come to a community center and the only thing you're getting from that particular thing is what you determine valuable at certain times, let's say Muharram, Ramadan only, then you'll see that those centers are only used those times, Muharrams and Ramadans only, okay? But if you all of a sudden start to see that these centers recognize that they actually have different nufus that are coming to them, and hence they have to cater now to those nufus in the different aspects that they have. Educational development of the youth is one of the greatest areas that we as communities have to work on to make sure that our future here in Canada is a strong one, okay? And if you plan for that and you help host such seminars where those going into universities are informed and those who are already in universities are informing, you're in fact offering a service that might be attractive to those individuals who are in that phase. Hence, you're attracting that hubbun nafs towards them using your centers more. This is an important point to keep in mind. Salawat, please. But don't forget the verse of the Holy Quran that we've covered already in these nights. We said what? من كان يريد حرث أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم من كان يريد حرث الآخرة نزد له في حرثه نزد له في حرثه. If you wish for the harvest of the hereafter, Allah will increase you in that harvest. ومن كان يريد حرث الدنيا نؤتيه منها. If you want the harth, the harvest of this dunya, you'll only get an aspect of that. If you're running these particular events and these particular seminars only to gain in a worldly manner, not connected to this idea of growing and developing the Shia community, not connected to the fact that you're actually serving Abu Abdullah by doing this, then you will get benefit, but it will be minha, some benefit in this dunya. But if you take this initiative as an initiative to develop the caravan of Abu Abdullah, you see the hujjah of Allah in this time requires strong individuals to accompany him and assist him. Okay? So to make these strong individuals, a lot of effort. To get special results, you have to have special efforts. If this is the motivating factor about bringing these particular seminars to reality, then all of a sudden your community is going to be doing what? Is going to be harvesting of the akhirah. And Allah has promised there that if your intention towards developing these youth is for the akhirah, Allah says, nazid lahu fi harthihi. Meaning you're going to try level 5, I'm going to add to that. I'm going to make sure you get higher than that. Salawat, please. Second advice is to centers. And the center is nothing but you individual collection people here before me right now. Either you're a member or not member, or administration or not administration, those titles don't really matter. I'm talking to the Shias that are sitting before me. Okay? You have to understand that if you gather in the Western world on the basis of culture or language, neither your culture nor your language is strong enough to defend you from the storm that's brewing here. Okay? If you gather here on the basis of only culture or language, neither of those things are strong enough to protect you or your offsprings here. Good luck. Okay? So, it's not the case that you're a Khoja Shia or an Indian Shia or a Pakistani Shia. It's not the case that you're a student who's a Shia, you're a doctor Shia. No. Your identity, your primary identity, that which is going to save you here in the West is your religion. That's the only thing that has the power to protect you from that storm which is brewing here now. Okay? So the purpose of your collective and the thing that collects you should be exactly that, your primary identity, which is nothing but the caravan of Abu Abdullah. That is what has true strength in it. Salawat, please. This means that you cannot copy and paste from back home. Okay? Back home, you had masses. All you had to do was put a donation box outside, and when you came in, there was 100,000 people, maybe more in that muhalla, the ilaqa, that were basically people who might be coming into juluses and majalises and so on and so forth. That donation box would be packed and filled. All you did was you put a shabi of a haram outside, and people would put money in it, and it get packed and full, and all of a sudden you could run your activities with that. Please don't copy and paste. There's a hadith from the Imam that talks about the fact that somebody who is alim bi zamaneh, somebody who understands the times that they're living in, the hawadis, the difficulties and problems of his time will not affect them as much. Okay? You have to understand that you're living in a very different place than back home. Do not copy and paste. It's high time that centers over here themselves become financially independent. Salawat, please. Until they reach the level of independence, it's your job, each one of you, to make sure that they reach that capacity. It's your job to ensure that if you wish for these places that are basically the thing that is connecting you to your identity as a Shia, a place where you remember and commemorate Aba Abdullah, for it to continue, each one of you has a responsibility to make sure that you help that place become financially independent. I don't mean that just give money and donate. I mean that person has to have capacity for income. That center in of itself has to have the ability to create money for themselves, independent of donation. Salawat, please. We gather in these centers, and there are customarily du'as and Quran that are regularly recited. One of them is Du'a Kumail, for example. Okay? We have to understand in the caravan of Abu Abdullah, simply the utterances of words do not have that much value. In the Holy Quran, we've been told to do qira'ah. Okay? Unfortunately, in the non-Arab understanding of this word qira'ah, faham does not exist. Understanding does not exist. If you were to go to an Arab and say we did qira'at of something, right? It doesn't mean just mimicking the words without understanding what that particular thing means. In the irtikaz of the word qira'ah, understanding the meaning of that word is there. Okay? So when it comes to the qira'at of certain things like ad'iyah or the Holy Quran, if somebody is trying to repeat them without necessarily understanding what those meanings are, can those meanings actually be a source of guidance for them? See, our deen is not teaching us that these words and these ahadith are like, na'udhu incantations that we come and we do, and all of a sudden, we change. These ahadith and these adiyah are in fact our sources of guidance by means of the meanings that they hold. Kalamuna nur, our words are light. They illuminate your situation, they help you, they're supposed to guide you. Let me give you one example, please. Salawat. Dua Kumail. Am kayfa askunu fin nar wa raja'i afwak. How can I dwell in the fire while my hopes are your pardon? فبإزتك يا سيدي ومولاي أقسم الصادقة لئن تركتني ناطقة لأضجن إليك بين أهلها ضجيج الآملين. This line you've all repeated, you've been repeating for every single week. What does it mean? Any takers? No takers. Should give you a lesson. Am kayfa askunu fin nar wa raja'i afwak. How can I dwell in the fire while my hopes are your pardon? Then the Imam says, فَبِإِزَّتِكَ يَا سَيِّدِي, by your izzah, O my master, وَمَوْلَاي أُقْسِمُ صَادِقًا, I swear, truthfully swearing. What? So much importance and emphasis on what? لَإِن تَرَكْتَنِي نَاطِقًا, if you leave me be with some sort of nutq, some capacity to speak, لَأَذِجَّنَّ إِلَيْكَ بَيْنَ أَهْلِهَا ضَجِيجَ الْآمِلِينَ. While I'm in that hellfire, from amongst those people who are in that hellfire, I'll be calling out to you. There are levels of understanding a thing. When you look at fire, you have understanding of fire at one level. When you put your hand in fire, that eye of yours, that nafs of yours gets consumed such that it can focus on nothing but the fire. Okay? Imam is saying over here, if you were to put me, my nafs, in fire, not just any fire, hellfire, even at that great intensity of hardship, which is hellfire itself, my nafs would not be inattentive of you. This is what this line is saying. If my Mawla is like that, I have to be like that too. Attentiveness towards my Mawla, my Rabb really, towards every difficulty that I might have. Salawat, please. It is narrated from the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, Imam Sadiq, where he says, Al-mu'minu hasanul ma'una wa khiful ma'una. The first ma'una is with the ain, the second is with the hamza. So, al-mu'minu hasan al-ma'una means that a mu'min is somebody who when you're with them, they assist you. They're helpers for you. Is a good way of understanding that. Okay? They're your aun, they're your helpers, your assistants. Wa khiful ma'una, when you're with them, they're not burden for you. They're not a difficulty for you. Jayyidu tatbir lima'ishatih. Mu'mineen are those individuals who, when it comes to their tadabir, their organizations, they're jayyidul tadabir. They work together and they plan appropriately, strongly regarding their livelihoods and their life in this dunya. Salawat, please. The last point regarding this community is the importance of Jummah Salah. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls Jummah Salah dhikri, my dhikr. It's an institution which has been placed in the communities amongst the Shias by the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. For what? For the collection to get qudra, power. So many incentives have been narrated in our riwayat that if you go to Jummah Salah, your Jummah Salah is like Hajj. If you stay after for Asr Salah, your Asr Salah is like Umrah. One of the times where du'as are accepted is between when the khutbah of the Imam Jummah is finished and the congregation is about to stand for the Salah itself. This particular institution of Jummah Salah is something that is supposed to bring the collection of the mu'mineen in a particular area together on a singular point for what? Dhikri. My dhikr, Allah says. He calls Jummah Salah his dhikr. One of the institutions which is supposed to bring qudra to you, power to you, is just going towards that. Riwayat say, every step taken towards an attempt to go towards Jummah Salah is what? It's something that forgives your sins. That step and that body is saved from hellfire itself. Look at the narrations, how they're pushing you towards this concept. Salawat, please. One of the companions comes to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam and says that it's just a few of us. Should we recite Jummah or not? He says, even if it's a few of you, gather. He says a number. He says, gather in this amount. And then one of you become the Imam and lead. Have Jummah amongst you. We as the followers of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam in this city are enough that we want to gather. We can gather at large numbers. Do not let Jummah be something that's light, taken lightly by this community. We have in our riwayat that ارتد الناس بعد الحسين إلا الثلاث. After Imam Hussein alayhi salam, all of humanity ارتد الناس, they became murtad. The murtad in the hadith has different meanings. Doesn't mean they all became kafir. Okay, except for 3 individuals. Now, Imam Sajjad alayhi salam, his responsibility was to take the community from that low level, ارتد الناس بعد الحسين إلا الثلاث, towards a time where we see in the time of Imam Baqir and Imam Sadiq, they have over 4,000 students. So the responsibility of Imam Sajjad now is to take a community who has just witnessed Karbala and allowed for that to happen, all the way to the stage where in the time of Imam Sadiq and Imam Baqir alayhi salam, somebody comes to them and says that we want to debate you about something. Imam points to one of his shagirds and says, go debate him. If you beat him in the debate, it's as if you've beaten me. Imam Sajjad is responsible for the development of the community from the time of Karbala all the way to the flourishment over there. The reason we chose this particular topic today is because one of the nights that is actually the nights narrated as the Shahada of Imam Sajjad is the night of the 12th Muharram. This idea of developing your communities goes hand in hand with the Risala of this Imam. He developed the Shias in his time. Salawat, please. How many years did he develop the Shias like that? From that level to that level. 33 years. His efforts in 33 years, he was able to make the community of individuals develop entirely such that now the Imams to follow had over 4,000 students with them. Not just average students. Students who the Imam could say, if you beat him, it's as if you've beaten me in that particular field. That's not a small thing to say. In our narrations of history, we have that Imam Sajjad would continuously buy slaves, do their tarbiyah, and then release them. Continuously buy slaves, do their tarbiyah, make them financially able, educationally able, marry them off, and then release them. And this is how he developed this particular community. Many of the ashab of the Imams that follow afterwards, who basically become the bedrock of our fiqh today. If you take those ruwat out of our riwayat, we have nothing left. Okay? So where did these individuals grow? Who grew these plants? Imam Sajjad grew them. He's the one who laid the foundation of these ruwat that come later on by making sure that he did proper tarbiyah of their parents and themselves. This idea of community building is part and parcel of this Imam's life. His entire imamat is used on this. Salawat, please. But alas, we've been gathered here to remember the events that took place on the 11th of Muharram. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Today, millions march from Najaf towards Karbala. Today, millions march from Najaf, which was back then Kufa, to Karbala. Today, we commemorate the caravan that marched from Karbala towards Kufa. We have in history that when Sayyidah Zainab was about to get married, she put forth a request. She told her husband that I have one request. I cannot live away from my brother Hussein. He said, whenever I wish to go on a journey with my Mawla, my master, my brother Hussein, you have to allow me to go. Alas, the time comes today when Sayyidah Zainab has to go on a journey and she is no longer with her brother Hussein. Can you imagine how difficult this journey must have been for her? The Rawi says, I will never forget the moments when the caravan was crossing the Maqtal, when the women and children saw the bodies of their loved ones. He says, Sayyidah Zainab, as she was crossing the body of Imam Hussein, she says, Ya Muhammada, Ya Muhammada, Salli alayka malaikatu sama, Hada Hussein bil ara, Murammilu bid dima, Muqatti'ul a'dha. She calls on to the Holy Prophet. She says, Ya Rasulullah, this is Hussein on the ground lying here, covered in his own blood. The narration says the caravan is placed on camelback without any mahmal. And Imam Sajjad has been placed in chains around him. The army of Ibn Ziyad, in some narrations, say they thought the Imam would die from his weakness. This is how weak the Imam is at this particular time. They make their journey from Karbala towards Kufa, the city. Kufa is a city where Sayyidah Zainab in her childhood was beside Imam Ali alayhi salam when he was there. She knows the city well. She knows this city is the city of those who betrayed her father Ali. She knows the city is the city of those who betrayed her brother Hassan. She knows the city is the city of those who betrayed her brother Hussein. It's narrated that the caravan approaches near Kufa and it becomes near nightfall. Ibn Ziyad's army is told to wait there and they will enter the city in the morning. He wants to proudly announce that he has in fact stopped the caravan of Abu Abdullah. Morning time comes and this caravan is now going into the streets of Kufa. It's narrated that these individuals who had recently given bay'at to Muslim, upon seeing the caravan enter, they're shocked at the state of the caravan. One lady comes down and asks, "Who are you?" Sayyidah Zainab replies to her, says, "We are the Al of Allah, we are the Ahlul Bayt, we are the household of Rasulullah." This lady backs away in shock. She says, "This is the household of Rasulullah." Sayyidah Zainab at that particular time looks to the crowd, and this crowd now understanding that this is the Ahlul Bayt, these are the individuals who they have let down. The narrations say they're crying and they're crying. The Ahlul Kufa, these are the people who gave bay'at to Muslim and then they backed away. These are the people who wrote the letters to Abu Abdullah and they backed away. The narration says they're crying. And Sayyidah tells them all, "Be quiet." The Rawi says there was silence entirely in the crowd. Then Sayyidah Zainab stands and she starts her beautiful khutbah there. Each line of this khutbah is gems in it. She begins her khutbah with the praise of Allah. Then she says, "You people of Kufa, you are the people of treachery." Then she tells them, "You're crying for us." He continues to say, "You should cry, for you have bought the wrath of Allah by abandoning your invitation of us. You should cry, for you let the Ahlul Bayt be killed after you invited them." It's narrated that Sayyidah Zainab, when she finishes this khutbah, people are crying and biting their fingers in sorrow. An old Ju'fi man seen crying until his whole beard is covered in tears. Some of these individuals go to Imam Sajjad alayhi salam and they tell him that they're trying to console Imam Sajjad. And over there we have a hadith from Imam Sajjad. He says, "You are crying and you are upset for us. Then who has it that has killed us? Was it not your actions?" The time has come where the Ahlul Bayt are in Kufa, and Ibn Ziyad, in mocking them, has placed them in chains and has placed them in positions that are uncomfortable for them. He puts them in prisons. And those individuals who had given bay'at to Muslim before, those thousands and masses who had written the letters to Abu Abdullah, they're left biting their fingers and regretting, and they shall till Qiyamah, inshallah. Those individuals who never were able to act on their responsibilities and let the caravan of Abu Abdullah reach this station shall indeed never taste victory. One last point and it will end, inshallah, is that there comes a time when Sayyidah Zainab is asked by that lady that, who are you? The narration states, Sayyidah Zainab tells her that we are the Al of Allah, we are the family of Rasulullah. That lady becomes shocked because she realizes that the children of Rasulullah, they're being carried in tattered clothing. She goes back to her house and she brings some of the abayas and she hands them to Sayyidah Zainab. What a day has come that the Rasulullah's family today has to accept such help. May Allah curse those who brought forth dhulm on the Ahlul Bayt. Matam Hussain.
Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein,
Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Hussein, Ya Hussein. حسین تیرے لہو کی خوشبو حسین تیرے لہو کی خوشبو فلک کے دامن سے آ رہی ہے حسین تیرے لہو کی خوشبو حسین تیرے لہو کی خوشبو فلک کے دامن سے آ رہی ہے حسین حسین تیرے لہو کی خوشبو حسین تیرے لہو کی خوشبو فلک کے دامن سے آ رہی ہے فلک کے دامن سے آ رہی ہے یہ خون ناحق چھپے گا کیوں کر یہ خون ناحق چھپے گا کیوں کر جس سے یہ دنیا چھپا رہی ہے حسین تیرے لہو کی خوشبو حسین تیرے لہو کی خوشبو فلک کے دامن سے آ رہی ہے یا حسین حسین یا حسین یا حسین حسین یا حسین حسین لاشا جواں کا لے کر حسین لاشا جواں کا لے کر چلے ہیں مقتل سے سوئے خیمہ چلے ہیں مقتل سے سوئے خیمہ مگر ضعیفی قدم قدم پر مگر ضعیفی قدم قدم پر اٹھا رہی ہے بٹھا رہی ہے لہو کی خوشبو حسین تیرے لہو کی خوشبو فلک کے دامن سے آ رہی ہے یا حسین حسین یا حسین یا حسین حسین یا حسین یہ کون ہے جس کی گفتگو میں ہے جس کی گفتگو میں علی کا لہجہ جھلک رہا ہے علی کا لہجہ جھلک رہا ہے یہ کون ہے جس کے ولولوں میں یہ کون ہے جس کے ولولوں میں حسینیت جگمگا رہی ہے حسین جگمگا رہی ہے حسین تیرے لہو کی خوشبو حسین تیرے لہو کی خوشبو فلک کے دامن سے آ رہی ہے فلک کے دامن سے آ رہی ہے یا حسین حسین یا حسین یا حسین حسین یا حسین بارہ نصر ہے علی کی بیٹی مگر وہی عظمت محمد محمد لٹا کے کربل وہ جس کی خاطر بھرا ہوا گھر وہ جس کی خاطر بھرا ہوا گھر لٹا کے کربل سے آ رہی ہے رے لہو کی خوشبو حسین تیرے لہو کی خوشبو فلک دامن سے آ رہی ہے کے دامن سے آ رہی ہے یا حسین حسین یا حسین یا حسین حسین یا حسین پکار دشت بلا میں زینب دشت بلا میں زینب کہاں ہو عباس سے لوٹ آؤ ہو عباس سے لوٹ آؤ اٹھا کے ہاتھوں میں خالی کوزہ اٹھا کے ہاتھوں میں خالی کوزہ سکینہ تم کو بھلا رہی ہے حسین تیرے لہو کی خوشبو حسین تیرے لہو کی خوشبو فلک کے دامن سے آ رہی ہے فلک کے دامن سے آ رہی ہے یا حسین حسین یا حسین یا حسین حسین یا حسین بجھا کے پیکا سے پیاسے اپنی پیکا سے پیاسے اپنی تو گرم ریتی پہ سو رہا ہے ریتی پہ سو رہا ہے تجھے خیالوں میں ابھی اصغر تجھے خیالوں میں ابھی اصغر رباب جھولا جھولا رہی ہے حسین تیرے لہو کی خوشبو حسین تیرے لہو کی خوشبو فلک کے دامن سے آ رہی ہے یا حسین حسین یا حسین یا حسین حسین یا حسین دیار شام و دیار کوفہ جو ہو کے آئی ہے بنت زہرا نبی کے روزے پہ جاتے جاتے نبی کے روزے پہ جاتے جاتے نشان رسن کے چھپا رہی ہے حسین تیرے لہو کی خوشبو حسین تیرے لہو کی خوشبو فلک کے دامن سے آ رہی ہے فلک کے دامن سے آ رہی ہے یا حسین حسین یا حسین یا حسین حسین یا حسین کہاں ہے مقتل کہاں مدینہ کہاں ہے مقتل کہاں مدینہ تڑپ کے بولی یہ سلمہ تڑپ کے بولی یہ سلمہ جو غش سے جاگی ہے تیری سغرا جو غش سے جاگی ہے تیری سغرا بس ایک نوحہ سنا رہی ہے حسین تیرے لہو کی خوشبو حسین تیرے لہو کی خوشبو فلک کے دامن سے آ رہی ہے یا حسین حسین یا حسین یا حسین حسین یا حسین
تھا ثانی زہرا کا نوحہ گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا تھا ثانی زہرا کا نوحہ گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا بھائی میرا پیاسا قتل ہوا گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا تھا ثانی زہر گھر ہائے میرا برباد پاس کا کتنا خون بہا شان بھی کٹے مشکیزہ چھدا عباس کا کتنا خون بہا چانے بھی کٹے مشکیزہ چھدا کس حال میں وہ گھوڑے سے گرا کس حال میں وہ گھوڑے سے گرا کس حال میں وہ گھوڑے سے گرا گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا تھا ثانی زہرا کا نوحہ گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا تھا ثانی زہرا کا نوحہ گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا 18 برس والا اکبر شبیر کا دل لیلا کا جگر 18 برس والا اکبر شبیر کا دل لیلا کا جگر شخنیز سے دل اس کا ہوا شخنیز سے کا ہوا گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا تھا ثانی زہرا کا نوحہ گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا تھا ثانی زہرا کا نوحہ گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا 6 ماہ کا وہ اصغر پیاسا گردن پاچھو اس کی تیر لگا 6 ماہ کا وہ اصغر پیاسا گردن پاچھو اس کے تیر لگا تھا بھائی کے ہاتھوں پر لاشا تھا بھائی کے ہاتھوں پر لاشا تھا بھائی کے ہاتھوں پر لاشا گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا تھا ثانی زہرا کا نوحہ گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا تھا ثانی زہرا کا نوحہ گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا شبیر زمین پر جب آئے زہرا نے تڑپ کر بہن کیے شبیر زمین پر جب آئے زہرا نے تڑپ کر بہن کیے اے لال تیرا کیا حال ہوا اے لال تیرا کیا حال ہوا اے لال تیرا کیا حال ہوا گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا ثانی زہرا کا نوحہ گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا تھا ثانی زہرا کا نوحہ گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا اختر تھا قیامت کا منظر مقتل کی زمین بھی کانپ اٹھی اختر تھا قیامت کا منظر مقتل کی زمین بھی کانپ اٹھی زینب نے تڑپ کر جب یہ کہا زینب نے تڑپ کر جب یہ کہا گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا تھا ثانی زہرا کا نوحہ گھر ہائے میرا برباد ہوا یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین
شام آ رہی ہے دل پر ہزاروں صدمے اٹھائے بیٹی علی کی شام آ رہی ہے دل پر ہزاروں صدمے اٹھائے بیٹی علی کی شام آ رہی ہے دل پر ہزاروں صدمے اٹھائے بیٹی علی کی شام آ رہی ہے دل پر ہزاروں صدمے اٹھائے بیٹی علی کی ہنستے ہیں سارے بازار والے ہنستے ہیں سارے بازار والے روتی ہے ہائے بیٹی علی کی شام آ رہی ہے دل پر ہزاروں صدمے اٹھائے بیٹی علی کی شام آ رہی ہے دل پر ہزاروں صدمے اٹھائے بیٹی علی کی شام آ رہی ہے دل پر ہزاروں صدمے اٹھائے بیٹی علی کی. تھا جس کا بھائی عباس غازی ہے آج قیدی وہ شاہزادی. تھا جس کا بھائی عباس غازی ہے آج قیدی وہ شاہزادی. یہ شور سن کے غیرت کے مارے, یہ شور سن کے غیرت کے مارے, کہیں مر نہ جائے بیٹی علی کی. شام آ رہی ہے دل پر ہزاروں صدمے اٹھائے بیٹی علی کی. شام آ رہی ہے دل پر ہزاروں صدمے اٹھائے بیٹی علی کی. شام آ رہی ہے دل پر ہزاروں صدمے اٹھائے بیٹی علی کی. چاروں طرف ہے ماحول ایسا جیسے لگا ہو کوئی تماشا. چاروں طرف ہے ماحول ایسا جیسے لگا ہو کوئی تماشا. عباس آجا چادر اڑا جا, عباس آجا چادر اڑا جا, عباس آجا چادر اڑا جا, گھبرا نہ جائے بیٹی علی کی. شام آ رہی ہے دل پر ہزاروں صدمے اٹھائے بیٹی علی کی. شام آ رہی ہے دل پر ہزاروں صدمے اٹھائے بیٹی علی کی. شام آ رہی ہے دل پر ہزاروں صدمے اٹھائے بیٹی علی کی. برسا رہے ہیں پتھر ستمگر لگتے ہیں پتھر بی بی کے سر پر. برسا رہے ہیں پتھر ستمگر لگتے ہیں پتھر بی بی کے سر پر. بازو بندھے ہیں بے بس ہے خود کو, بازو بندھے ہیں بے بس ہے خود کو, کیسے بچائے بیٹی علی کی. شام آ رہی ہے دل پر ہزاروں صدمے اٹھائے بیٹی علی کی. شام آ رہی ہے دل پر ہزاروں صدمے اٹھائے بیٹی علی کی. ہاں وہ عابدے بیمار تھا, وہ عابدے بیمار تھا, وہ عابدے بیمار تھا, وہ عابدے بیمار تھا. چلنے سے جو لاچار تھا, چلنے سے جو لاچار تھا, چلنے سے جو لاچار تھا, چلنے سے جو لاچار تھا. اور شام کا بازار تھا, اور شام کا بازار تھا, اور مصطفیٰ کی بیٹیاں مولا حق امام حسن یا حسین 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 یا حسین. شام غریب چھا گئی, شام غریب چھا گئی, شام غریب چھا گئی, شام غریب چھا گئی. عابد کو غیرت کھا گئی, عابد کو غیرت کھا گئی, عابد کو غیرت کھا گئی, عابد کو غیرت کھا گئی. پہرے پہ زینب آ گئی, پہرے پہ زینب آ گئی. عباس اور اکبر کہاں, امام حسن یا حسین 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 یا حسین.
متوجہ زیارت. السلام علیک یا ابا عبداللہ, السلام علیک یا ابن رسول اللہ, السلام علیک یا ابن امیر المؤمنین و ابن سید الوصیین, السلام علیک یا ابن فاطمة سیدتی نساء العالمین, السلام علیک یا ثار اللہ و ابن ثارہ والوتر الموتور, السلام علیک وعلى الارواح التي حلت بفنائك, عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار. يا أبا عبد الله، لقد عظمت الرزية وجلت وعظمت المصيبة بك علينا وعلى جميع أهل الإسلام، وجلت وعظمت مصيبتك في السماوات على جميع أهل السماوات. فلعن الله أمة أسست أساس الظلم والجور عليكم أهل البيت، ولعن الله أمة دفعتكم عن مقامكم وأزالتكم عن مراتبكم التي رتبكم الله فيها، ولعن الله أمة قتلتكم، ولعن الله الممهدين لهم بالتمكين من قتالكم. برئت إلى الله وإليكم منهم ومن أشياعهم وأتباعهم وأوليائهم. يا أبا عبد الله، إني سلم لمن سالمكم وحرب لمن حاربكم إلى يوم القيامة. ولعن الله آل زياد وآل مروان، ولعن الله بني أمية قاتبة، ولعن الله ابن مرجانة، ولعن الله عمر بن سعد، ولعن الله شمرا، ولعن الله أمة أسرجت وألجمت وتنقبت لقتالك بأبي أنت وأمي. لقد أضم مصابي بك، فأسأل الله الذي أكرم مقامك وأكرمني بك أن يرزقني طلب ثارك مع إمام منصور من أهل بيت محمد صلى الله عليه وآله. اللهم اجعلني عندك وجيحا بالحسين عليه السلام في الدنيا والآخرة. يا أبا عبد الله، إني أتقرب إلى الله وإلى رسوله وإلى أمير المؤمنين وإلى فاطمة وإلى الحسن وإليك بموالاتك وبالبراءة ممن أسس أساس ذلك وبنى عليه بنيانا وجرى في ظلمه وجوره عليكم وعلى أشياعكم. برئت إلى الله وإليكم منهم، وتقربوا إلى الله ثم إليكم بموالاتكم وموالاة وليكم وبالبراءة من أعدائكم والناصبين لكم الحرب وبالبراءة من أشياعهم وأتباعهم. إني سلم لمن سالمكم وحرب لمن حاربكم وولي لمن والاكم وعدو لمن عاداكم. فأسأل الله الذي أكرمني بمعرفتكم ومعرفة أوليائكم ورزقني البراءة من أعدائكم أن يجعلني معكم في الدنيا والآخرة، وأن يثبت لي عندكم قدم صدق في الدنيا والآخرة، وأسأله أن يبلغني المقام المحمود لكم عند الله، وأن يرزقني طلب ثاري مع إمام هدى ظاهر ناطق بالحق منكم. وأسأل الله بحقكم وبالشأن الذي لكم عنده أن يطيعني بمصابي بكم أفضل ما يعطي مصابا بمصيبته مصيبة ما أعظمها وأعظم رزيتها في الإسلام وفي جميع السماوات والأرض. اللهم اجعلني في مقامي هذا ممن تناله منك صلوات ورحمة ومغفرة. اللهم اجعل محياي محيا محمد وآل محمد، ومماتي ممات محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إن هذا يوم تبركت به بنو أمية وابن آكلة الأكباد، اللعين ابن اللعين، على لسانك ولسان نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله في كل موطن وموقف وقف فيه نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله. اللهم لعن أبا سفيان ومعاوية ويزيد بن معاوية، عليهم منك اللعنة أبد الآبدين. وهذا يوم فرحت به آل زياد وآل مروان بقتلهم الحسين صلوات الله عليه. اللهم فضاعف عليهم اللعن منك والعذاب الأليم. اللهم إني أتقرب إليك في هذا اليوم وفي موقفي هذا وأيام حياتي بالبراءة منهم واللعنة عليهم وبالموالاة لنبيك وآل نبيك عليه وعليهم السلام. اللهم لعن أول ظالم ظلم حق محمد وآل محمد وآخر تابع له على ذلك. اللهم لعن الإصابة التي جاهدت الحسين وشايعت وبايعت وتابعت على قتله. اللهم لعنهم جميعا. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليك مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار، ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. اللهم خص أنت أول ظالم باللعن مني وابدأ به أولا، ثم اللعن الثاني والثالث والرابع. اللهم لعن يزيد خامسا، والعن عبيد الله بن زياد وابن مرجان وأمر بن سعد وشمرا وآل أبي سفيان وآل زياد وآل مروان إلى يوم القيامة. سجدة. اللهم لك الحمد حمد الشاكرين لك على مصابهم، الحمد لله على عظيم رزيتي. اللهم ارزقني شفاعة الحسين يوم الورود، وثبت لي قدم صدق عندك مع الحسين وأصحاب الحسين الذين بذلوا محجهم دون الحسين عليه السلام. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك علي أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا فاطمة سيدتي نساء العالمين، السلام عليك حسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة، السلام عليك علي بن الحسين زين العابدين، السلام عليك محمد بن علي الباقر علم النبيين، السلام عليك جعفر بن محمد أيها الصادق، السلام عليك موسى بن جعفر أيها الكاظم، السلام عليك علي بن موسى أيها الرضا، السلام عليك محمد بن علي التقي الجواد، السلام عليك علي بن محمد الهادي النقي، السلام عليك حسن بن علي العسكري، السلام عليك حجة بن الحسن القائم المنتظر المهدي، سيدي عجل الله تعالى فرجك وزهورك وجعلنا من أنصارك وأعوانك والمستشهدين بين يديك.
We just have a few minutes, my brothers, before Adhan.